Good evening, everyone, and a warm welcome to all the dignitaries and participants for the webinar on expectation of companies from candidate. This is Kate Key, Student Alumni Coordinator from Student Alumni Relationship Cell, which is assisting alumni network of Sanjivani Group of Institutes to grow its network across globe. At SARC, we have taken initiative to organize alumni webinars where we are inviting alumni of Sanjivani Group to give back to its alma mater by helping students to grow and upskill. In this alumni webinar series, we are starting with our eminent alumnus, Mr. Pavan Patil from class of 2015 BE Electronics and Telecommunication to give webinar on topic expectation of companies from candidates. As a job aspirants, there might be few questions in your mind. What would be the selection criteria? What are the skill sets required? Or how should I enhance my chances of getting selected? And many more. While there are a number of jobs in market as a person who is looking for a fresher's job can feel a little lost without guidance due to lack of experience. Candidates who make a good first impression will set the right tone for the interview. So, in this webinar, you will be getting your answers which will lead you towards your bright future. So, we shall start the webinar from now. Now, I request our director, Dr. A.G. Thakur sir, to give us the welcome address.
Hello, whether I'm audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. So good evening to all of you.
Good
I
evening.
think I am visible. Okay, good evening.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. So I'm very much delighted that our alumni has taken this very good initiative because uh, we are having lot of academic background with us. But many times when we are going for the interviews, we are not aware exactly what the industry expects from us. And there are small things when we appear for the interview, they are being evaluated, which we are not knowing. For example, sometimes they will ask you that, are you able to work in the night shift? And many times when the interview process is going on, that time a student will ask, what are our timings and other things. So I want to tell you that, of course, we are going to know about this in detail when we are discussing. But that is very important that we should have strategic planning. And particularly when we are discussing, so being a young person, my personal suggestion is that whatever the working conditions they are talking to us, maybe the out of time or maybe the night shift or these answers, we have to give that, yes, I am ready to work at any place around the world, any time. Because when we are young, we cannot say that we are abided by this timing and these things. So that is my suggestion. And I hope that our expert is going to discuss with you regarding the details. What are your queries? He is going to answer. So first of all, I want to thank our alumni association that they have come with this initiative to bring our alumni who are working in various organizations from many years and having a wide experience and to get their thought, because they know that what exactly the industry wants from our side. Because after getting the graduation, we know only technical things, but what is the behavioral things required for the industry, what are the other aspects required, that we are not aware. So this is a very good platform from our side where we can raise our queries and we can ask. So I wish all the best for these initiatives. And because we are delighted to know from our expert what are the side of this thing. So without wasting any time, I will tell the organizer to continue with this our activity.
Thank you, sir, for your words. Now, I would like to introduce our eminent guest, Mr. Pavan Patil. Sir is working as an associate consultant at Northern Trust Corporation. Sir has completed his
1
BE
minute.
in
Actually, sorry.
electronic.
Just 1 minute. Okay. So, Pawan, how
Yes,
are
sir.
you?
Yes, sir.
I'm good, sir. I'm good. I'm good, sir.
Okay. So, this is very good thing that first time we are interacting with you, and you are our first person in this this
Yeah.
particular session or initiatives we have started. So I welcome you again back on the behalf of Sanjay as the director now. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think you are from electronics.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir. So yeah. So last year I had visited physically. So now
Okay. Okay.
it's pretty much a good experience for me to guide and mentor students through this online platform. So yeah, I'm looking forward for it.
So, what I told you that the behavioral things during the interview is also one of the very important aspects.
True.
Many time when I am interviewing the people, many time I have rejected the person only on this ground.
True. That's correct.
That if we are asking something and if they are not giving the confident answers regarding that, then many a time the
True.
company will not select you. Okay. So
Correct.
I think your experience will definitely help the students. Okay. I will not intervene now. Just I
Yeah.
want to welcome you forward. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Continue.
Sir is working as an associate consultant at Northern Trust Corporation. Sir has completed his BE in Electronics and Telecommunication in the year 2015 from Sanjivani College of Engineering. Sir has done his PG DAC from Sunbeam Institute of Information Technology. Sir is a passionate technologist with a strong record of delivering global, real-time, complex financial systems. Sir has experience of working in high performance agile teams and delivering software for tier 1 financial institutes in private and investment banking domain. Sir has his expertise in working in developer driven agile squads focusing on emerging technologies, trends and automations. Now I would request Pawan sir to start the webinar.
Okay. So thank you so much, Sanjivani placement team and Thakur sir for giving me this opportunity to mentor and guide students. So hi everyone. Very warm welcome and good evening to each and everyone. So before starting, let me share my journey and let me share what I've gone through in order to get in, to real industry. How have what problems I've faced basically. So in 2015, I've completed my engineering. So I was like, it's like fresh, like everyone. I was fresher, and so I was seeking for a job. Then I understood being a fresher, it is not easy to get a job. So I thought of having some extra skills in my resume. So I took admission in CDAC. So most of us you might have heard about CDAC. So uh, so in order to get admission in CDAC, you need to do first their entrance exam. So it is very competitive entrance exam from all over the India. Students participating in the entrance exams, and for CDAC they have top-notch institution centers basically in Pune like CDAC-X and SEMBI Pune. So in order to get admission in such kind of institute, you need at least below 1,000 all India rank. So I completed CDAC from Sunbeam Pune. So while when I took admission in Sunbeam Pune, I understood that there is a lot of lag between what industry wants and what engineering college. There is syllabus which is present in engineering colleges. So what they CDAC institution tend to teach every student is they tend to teach what actual industry wants. So practical exposure, what I would say is very must essential thing while appearing for any interview. So I will tell you on later what happens exactly during interview. So let me complete my journey first. So after this is 6 months course basically CDAC courses. So after completion placement starts. So from all over the India, student comes to Pune for campus program from. So we have different institutions at different places all over the India. So we have CDAC Mohali, CDAC Delhi, CDAC Bangalore, CDAC Pune. So there is place at near Karad, so Sunbeam Karad. So out of pool of around 2,000 to 3,000 students. There is also CDAC Mumbai as well. So we have 2 centers in CDAC Mumbai, 2 centers in Mumbai. So my first company was CDAC itself. So CDAC's full form is Center for Development in Advanced Computing. So they have their own research and development center in Pune, which is based in Pashan. So my first interview was of CDAC only. So what is process is, first of all, on-campus hiring happens. After that, off-campus hiring happens. So I got a call of CDAC only, my first call of CDAC only. So when I went to the interview, there was panel. So around 5 to 6 panelists totally was present over there. And first question, they started asking me what was my CDAC project basically. So what industry basically want is how you have practically experienced something. And they started asking me the questions on the project which I did. So from that time, I got to know that how much important this particular thing is, practical exposure to technical things. So I will urge every students to have hands-on. So suppose if there are ENTC students, they want to come into the software industry. So I will urge students to do the practice of coding as much as possible, because what is the trend right now happening is only speaking will not allow you to enter in the technical industry. They have they will tell you, they will give you one line of problem, and you will have to write it down on the paper, and you will have to solve the problem. They will give you the all the sufficient technical requirements they will provide you, so you will have to code. So all there were 5 panelists, and they started taking my interview. So you might have heard about Java, C#, .NET. So it was the project of Election Commission of India. So there was hiring for Election of Commission of India, and their basically requirement was only for .NET and C# related candidates. So but basically I did my project in Java. My interview went fantastic. So I explained, because whatever I did in my project, I haven't prepared anything specifically for anything. So whatever I learned in my 6 months course, that's what I that's what I told them. I haven't prepared specifically for interview. So interview preparation is gradual process. So you have to prepare gradually. Whatever you are learning, you'll have to understand, you'll have to adapt. So after that, I got placed in CDAC. Even though they wanted only C# and .NET candidates, they hired me because of my practical exposure, because of my attitude, because of my technical skills, because of my communication skills. And after that, after hiring, I started working with CDAC. So one of my project was related to patents. So there was global platform they were developing for Germany. So European Patent Office, Indian Patent Office, and Electronics and Minister of Electronics and Information Technology, they wanted to create one patent platform, wherein various collaborators or innovators from India and Germany they can collaborate, they can share their patent ideas. Or if suppose anyone wants to file patents, we used to tell them that this patent is novel. So I've traveled multiple times to Ministry in Delhi in order to gather requirements, because my communication skill was good. We used to sit with different different directors of ministries. We used to capture the requirements. Then we used to travel across Pune and Delhi. We used to go to Delhi to take the requirements, and once we come down to Pune, we used to code. So after 2 years of CDAC, I got placed in TIA. It is one of the reputed financial organization, US-based financial organization. So shifting from a totally government pure research and development organization to totally captive-based organization was basically very challenging thing for me. But I took this challenge because I wanted to learn how financial organization works, how captive things works, what are the different measures they took in order to have safe transactions. So I started working with TIA. there was also that interview also they took around 6 to 7 rounds. The interview process was lengthy. So first interview was pen and paper test. Second was one-to-one interview. Third was also one-to-one. Fourth round was with my manager from US. So we had a WebEx call. Was HR. So around 5 rounds they took in order to hire me. So I've every round I've successfully, I went through every round successfully. So after completion of rounds, I got into the TI. So I worked over there for different around around 2 years. I worked over there. So I learned so many things over there. So there are different protocols for different companies. So uh, the as already Thakur sir told you that you need to have very flexible with timing, because this is what globalization is. So you work with different collaborators across the world. So our office was in Carolina. It is in North Carolina. Our office was there. So we used to work around 12 to 9 was shift timing was there. So you have to be very flexible, guys. Suppose if your recruiter asks whether are you flexible, so tell them yes, we are flexible in order to work, because this is what learning opportunity comes. This is where learning opportunity comes. So I worked over there for 2 years now. Recently, in last year, I'm working. Last year, I switched down to this new company, that is Northern Trust. So we have a very huge office. They have very huge office set up in Unity Park in Kharadi. So in Kharadi, they started hiring few candidates. They wanted to kind of hire few candidates, and I also went there for interview. My first round was telephonic only. So from telephonic from Chicago, my manager took my interview. So here's also 5 to 6 rounds was there. So the good thing I want to tell you is wherever I have given my interview, I got placed. So what is the thing I got placed in every interview was because SIDAC was my first company. I got placed in TI also. I got placed in Northern Trust also. I got placed. So thing is, I understood how basically requirement works, because when I used to work with SIDAC, I was also part of panel. So we used to go. So in Pune, we have one catering college where all interview happens. So for hiring in SIDAC, our panel used to go, and I was part of that panel. So first of all, we used to, once we receive the resume is very important part. So as soon as, suppose if you are in second year, if you are in third year, you need to start your preparing your resume very well, because resume is from where we can understand what is candidate is all about. So first of all, there are different criterias in order to shortlist the candidate. So we had criteria that we used to shortlist only the candidate who had throughout 60% in their engineering. So after this filter, we used to check their projects. So suppose my project was patent related projects, and so suppose if a candidate did certain project in their SIDAC, suppose they did project in Java, suppose our tech stack, whatever our tech stack requirement was. So we used to shortlist our candidate. After the shortlisting candidate, so whenever if we used to sit at the panel in the interview, and suppose if even when candidate enters in the interview, from there you itself your interview starts, because your body language matters, your attitude matters a lot. So as soon as your interview starts, whatever we for right now, what happens is before giving any interview, you need to give your aptitude test. So I will request each and everyone who is participating in this particular this session. So please prepare your aptitude very well, because aptitude is where the entry point is. Because if your company rejects you from the aptitude only, you are not going to get a chance even to attend the interview. So there are certain books wherein you can prepare for your aptitude. So one of the book which I referred was R.S. Agarwal. So R.S. Agarwal, it is very good for aptitude and logical reasoning. So once you clear down the aptitude round, you need to face to face with your panelist. So we start asking, suppose if candidate suppose if candidate is visiting our panel, so we start asking from the practical which he did in the he did in his 6 months of course. So we will ask different scenario based question. So suppose we will understand, from the experience we will understand if the candidate is bluffing or not. So if we find that candidate is bluffing, we will reject at that spot itself. So whatever I'm saying is, be honest while giving your interview, and technical exposure is very much essential thing. Also, one of the most important thing for any interview is communication skill, because you need to interact with different your stakeholders, with your managers, with your clients through English language only. So even though if you're technically very good, and if you're lacking in communication skill, they will reject you. So what you can do to improve your English is, first of all, learn grammar, read English newspaper. You can watch different English news basically in order to improve your English, because very much communication skills are very much essential here. So communication skill, technical exposure is essential. How hardworking you are, how flexible you are, as well as your attitude. Suppose scenario-based question to a candidate, and if a candidate is not even trying to, even if he don't know the answer, and if he is not even willing to try to give the answer, we also tend to reject those kind of candidates, because we want a candidate who can at least try, even if he is not aware of his solution. Even if he is trying, it is also one of the important thing. If you don't know any answer in interview, just give a shot, just try to give the answer. Don't say I don't know anything, right, like that. One more thing in interview is, whatever, suppose if you are from 3rd year or 4th year of engineering, please, if you are going for any software industry, any interview to, suppose you are going to give industry to any software company, I will urge every candidate to have practically they should have prepared for programming. So simple programs like Fibonacci series, how to swap the numbers. So you should have, suppose if I am hiring for Java, I will just give one simple example. So write down a Fibonacci series. So you must try, you must, because these are very simple programs. So you must do the practice of simple programming programs like Fibonacci series, how to swap the numbers. So there is one book, let us see, from which you can get certain kind of various twisters are available as well. So you can prepare the twisters as basically in software industry. What is the requirement is, hello, I hope I'm audible.
Pawan, actually,
Yes, sir,
we
you
are
are
facing
audible.
some network issues. It shows a low bandwidth for you. Can you just check?
Okay. So, right now, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you're audible, but we cannot see you. Yeah. So actually, it shows like red marks, so I think bandwidth
You cannot
is
see
low.
me.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of disturbance actually. So
Hello.
yes, we can see you now. This is good.
You can see me now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, prepare your data structure. So data structure like queue, stack, how linked list works. So these are fresher level questions. So if any fresher comes in an interview, what we ask is how to reverse the linked list, write down your own stack, write down a queue. So these are very basic questions which you can prepare from, just Google it down, what are the questions, because but what is the most important thing is you need to have practical exposure. And what company basically is they need practical exposure. They want, they don't expect too much from freshers, because there are various companies like Infosys there, TCS there, whatever they do is they hire the candidate and they train the candidates basically, and they have their own training program for 6 months to 1 year wherein they can teach things. But there are certain companies which they can directly hire the candidate and they can directly throw you on the live project. Yeah, so this is what all about it is. And your confidence is what matters a lot. Your confidence means how you are entering in your interview room, how you are sitting, whether you have manners or not, whether you are taking permission before sitting in the interview. After that, how you whether you are how is your gesture, whether you are polite enough or not. Because let me tell you my first interview experience, which happened in Sanjuni only. So in last round only, I tell them that I want to. So they asked me basic question that, suppose Pawan, if we hire you, uh, whether you will accept the our offer. Then I don't know why I said, sir, I wanted to prepare for civil services examination. So this is what also small mistake we do. So be sure if you are attending any interview, don't waste your time as well and don't waste interviewers time as well. Be sure if you attend any interview, choose the interview, give your best shot. And yeah, that's what pretty much about into what company expect is basically they will check your logical reasoning, they will check your aptitude. Your maths, basic math has to be good, because in aptitude there are different questions. So when you go across your, so in CDAC we have special dedicated aptitude course. So we used to have aptitude session wherein one faculty, which was very renowned faculty in Pune, used to teach us aptitude, because aptitude was a screening ground in most of the companies. And you can improve your English by communicating in English. Try to communicate as much as possible. You should have a proper writing skills in English, because why writing skill matters is we send mails across different, we send mails to different clients, different stakeholders, different managers. So you should have proper mailing etiquettes with you. Etiquettes also matters a lot. So there are different ways, you can acquire additional knowledge. So there are different platforms from where you can do the certification. So if you do any certification which adds extra value in your resume, so there are various online platforms available from where you can do the certifications. As also, I will urge every candidate to have a proper top-notch LinkedIn profile. Prepare your LinkedIn very well manner, because LinkedIn also matters. LinkedIn profile is also very much essential nowadays, because the company which I am working right now, I got interview call through LinkedIn only. So they saw my LinkedIn profile and they were very impressed with my background. And I got opportunity to LinkedIn only. So LinkedIn is also very much important. So prepare your LinkedIn profile from now itself. Try to make as much as connection as possible. Try to communicate with different people, so that you will understand. Once you go to the LinkedIn, you will get different opportunities over LinkedIn as well. So there are 4 to 5 rounds happens basically in interview. So first is aptitude round is first. After that, your second first one-to-one, wherein technical questions they basically ask. Also second one-to-one happens. Also there are different technical exposure questions, scenario based question. Third interview happens with your manager. Basically manager checks for your behavioral skills. So so suppose if I suppose my requirement is I wanted to hire for a certain project, and that project duration is only for 6 months, and whether you will be capable to switch to different project, whether you will be capable to learn different technologies. Because suppose if any US based companies wanted to hire candidates from India, their first expectation was adaptive. How much candidate is adaptive? How fast he can learn the things? Because they wanted to, set their platform as much early as possible, and for that they want fast learner candidates. So how much fast you can learn? So your competition is with the students of United States. So suppose my company is from United States, and there are different renowned universities in United States, and our company hires in United States as well and India as well. So your competition is with global students. So you need to, very versatile. You need to be very versatile. You need to be very capable, because your competition with global students. So let me share my experience. One of the tasks which I had, one of my manager what given to me was, there. So if you guys aware, there is one application server which was paid basically, and they wanted to migrate their application to server which was totally free, and they had given that task to the student which was university passed from North Carolina University, and he was unable to perform that task. So my manager had given that task to me. So I never said no to any task. So I said yes, I will try my best. I don't know. I will learn basically. I will learn gradually. And I took that task and I had completed the task. So it doesn't matter basically from where you do your engineering. Once you get in any organization, in that organization it only provides you the different learning abilities, learning platform they will provide you. They will pay for your suppose if you want to do any certification, they will pay for your certification. So there are different platforms like Stack Overflow. I don't know whether you are aware of Stack Overflow or not. So you can go to the Stack Overflow, you can read about top you can go to top voted question, you can learn about different top voted questions. Also, I will urge every candidate to suppose if you want to come in this basis, more specifically in software industry, you can learn different languages like Java, Python, C Sharp, and you can create your own blog, so that once you appear for the interview, you can convince your interviewer. You can it will have extra edge if you have done anything practically. So there are different websites available over the internet you can do. So for Java, I can set tutorial points. So tutorial point is one website from where you can learn the Java. So learn, code, and repeat. That's what is the mantra. uh, so suppose if any company wants to hire any candidate, they want versatile candidate. They want candidate who is flexible enough to do many tasks, multitask. Multitasking is also one of the important factors. So how candidate can perform, do the multitasking, how we can do, how we can do the coding in different sets of projects at a single time. Because suppose one of the thing one of the major advantage for India is, suppose it is money. So if any candidates if any company hire in United States, they need to pay a lot. Suppose around so yeah, my onshore team member had around $10,000 per month was his salary. And you can compare from $10,000 into 70, how much how many candidates they can hire through India. So this is one of the important factor why every global company is switching to India, is they have extremely cheap talent available in India. That's why software industry is booming in India. So when I was in CDAC, and I was on the notice period, and while serving my notice period, there is portal Naukri.com. So you can also register in Naukri.com. So Naukri.com, daily I used to get around 5 to 10 calls. So around in 1 month of notice period, I had received around 100 to 150 interview calls from the various companies across Pune, Mumbai, and from Bangalore as well. So because in 2 years I have worked hard work is very essential, guys. Because suppose if any company hires in low budget, and if you're working very hard, it will eventually help you in order to, suppose whenever you are switching the company, your hard work pays definitely. So I almost got 150 calls through Naukri.com, and I was overwhelmed basically. In later stage I had stopped giving interview. So there are multiple opportunities available in the market. You just need to be at right place at right time, and yeah, that's pretty much from my side. I will. It's now. If you have any questions, I'm ready to give a answer of your questions.
Sir, there is one question. What basically the interviewer asks in the interview?
So this is very generalized question, I would say, Kshitish. What interview asks is depend upon the suppose different companies have different culture, and depending upon the project requirement as well. So suppose if in my suppose my according to my experience, what I would say is, suppose we wanted to hire candidates for Java, I will extensively ask the questions on Java language itself. So basic from the Java, from basic Java to advanced Java. So it is very generalized question. As a technical interview, what I can check is your technical exposure, how practically you are doing certain things, how is your logical reasoning, how you can do how adaptive you are, how multitasking you can perform, and how much at least you're trying to give my answer. That's what I can say is. It's very generalized question, but basically.
Pawan, I have an extension to this question, like because this is the question which many students have. Could be a reason that they're not experienced as well, right? So, like when we talk about what basically interviewer ask in the like interviewer ask to a candidate. So one is like you have personal interview, one is like technical interview. But like, can you elaborate on the projects part? Because normally what happens when you go ahead for some yeah interview, and like how these projects which they are currently doing at a Sanjeevani Group of Institutes, so how actually it is going to help them. Normally people get the projects done, and they just show it in the resume, but they're not able to speak about what there is in the resume. Can you
Okay,
elaborate like how to
sure.
actually speak your resume in the
Okay,
interview?
so according to my experience, project is very much essential thing, and if you are doing project from outside, it is not going to help you. So you need to prepare your project by yourself. You need to know each and every part of your project. So so suppose my project basically was bookmyshow.com, website like bookmyshow.com. So what question basically I can ask is your class diagram, how you have created your classes, your database tables diagram, how they are basically connected, how you have designed your web pages, how server and client communicates with each other, how session is maintained between client and server, how secure your web application is. So I will try to ask such scenario based questions. And if you have done project from outside, and you will not be able to definitely give answer of such scenario based questions. So project, what I can suggest all of my friend is, do your project by yourself. Try to prepare very well while giving interview. And project is so basically in CDAC, project is entry point of an interview. So we assess students from project itself. So if he is unable to answer basic questions related to project, we reject at that point only. So you can prepare your project, and you should write your project details in very well formatted manners in your resume. So project is very much essential thing. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
So yeah.
Sir, what are the work readiness qualities should have in candidate?
Work readiness qualities, what I would say is hard work. How candidate is adaptive. So suppose there is shift timing, different shift timings, whether you are capable to work in shifts. Suppose if my own shift is I work from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. So I use in US shifts. So I need to be flexible, also, are you flexible enough to switch to different location as well? So yeah, adaptability is one thing. Your hardworking nature, multitasking, how multitask you can do, and one of the most important thing is how fast you can learn.
Sir, the next question is exactly how to make LinkedIn account look good, and should we post certificates on LinkedIn?
So you should have proper profile picture in your LinkedIn. Proper profile picture. You should write down your projects which you did in your engineering or your post graduation whatsoever. Also, whatever your top skills, you can give your top skills over there. Also, uh, connections. You should have proper connection with proper industry people. That is also one more important thing. So you can search Pawan Patel Northern Trust on LinkedIn, and you can try to see my LinkedIn profile, from wherein you can get the idea how basically we prepare LinkedIn profile.
Pawan, there's one more thing in LinkedIn we want to know. Like normally, like being a student, we write a lot of things. Like during in hobbies also we'll put anything. It is listening music, doing that. In skills we'll put communication. Can you suggest like because they cannot have an all-star profile right from just because they still need experience, right? So what all skills they should actually write? I've seen a lot of yes, I've seen a lot of students mentioning only communication, but in communication also, uh, there's a lot of things like interpersonal and all those things. So you can just guide students on that.
So mostly I will say don't give like listening. Also resume, there is for resume preparation, if you even if you can Google now, you will get lots of important tips how to prepare resume. On LinkedIn, you just give your technical. So let me share my screen. I will show how my LinkedIn looks basically. I hope you are able to see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is particularly my profile. Proper profile picture, proper background. So one student has asked, can we post certification? Yes, definitely we can add certification. So these are different technical skills which you can add. So I added Java, JavaScript, banking, investment banking. So you can add all the skills wherein your different colleagues or different friends, they can endorse you for a particular skill. And here is one project section. Also project section is here. You can add your projects as well. So this is project section. So all the projects which I did, I added my projects over here. So your profile should be like this. And you can also prepare your profile. You can prepare your resume properly. There are multiple guidelines which are present, and resume also is very much essential thing.
There is
Right.
one more question related to LinkedIn. How to get a call from company through LinkedIn platform? What we have to do?
So from LinkedIn, what happens is many times recruiters only see your profile, and basically they contact you through LinkedIn. Also in LinkedIn, there is a section called jobs. from jobs wherein you can apply to different companies, and if your profile is suitable, uh, they will contact you back. So most of the time your recruiters contact you. Second option is you can apply through jobs. Third option is there are different HRs which HRs present in on LinkedIn, and you can contact them and you can ask them whether they have any certain opportunities available. If available, they can tell you if it is available or not. But in my experience, only interview kind of communicated me through LinkedIn messaging for opportunity which is available with the company. So basically, interview, if your profile is good, you have good practical exposure to certain things, recruiter will contact you directly.
And the next question is, what is asked in interview with CEO?
Most of the times, CEO doesn't take any question as any interview. Most of the time, this happens. So in my case, in TIA, basically, if there is global head can take interview, but I have never seen any CEO taking interview because he is very high level position. And for fresher, they generally take such kind of for fresher, basically they don't take interviews. So CEO I have never seen any experience, or I don't have any experience how regarding these questions. But as far as my knowledge is question, very rarely, very rarely CEO takes interview. It doesn't matter who takes the interview. What is important is how you can crack the interview. It doesn't matter at all.
The next question is, how do we stand on the company's expectations?
So as I told you, right, you must have so they have certain filter criterias, and if you are fitting in their filter criterias, you will stand out in the company. So there are many companies who want better, very good marks in their graduation. So graduation from students. So that is one filter criteria. So do you have any practical exposure to any language? So suppose if hiring for any company and I want students only from Java background. So what I will do is I will check if he particular candidate did any project in Java. So learn as much technical things as possible in order to stand out of the crowd. Do the certification of different languages. So you can do the certification of Java, you can do the certification of Python, you can do the certification of C#, to stand out of the crowd.
The next is, generally people say that these domains are in boom. So what is the terminology in actual about what about the other domains?
So I'm not able to understand these domains about which domain you're talking, but IT sector is in boom as always. So artificial intelligence is one domain which is in currently boom. So because of data science and all. Okay, so data science is also in boom. So yeah, you can learn Python language, and you must have proper maths knowledge as well for data science, because in data science and artificial intelligence you create models, you apply artificial intelligence to those models, and those models will learn basically, and once you provide input, it will give you the output. So data science is there is huge requirement of data scientists in the industry, but very rare people available in data science. So data science is also in very boom. Yeah, but for that you need to do any certification, you need practical knowledge.
The next one is, what should be the guidelines for upcoming mechanical engineers to learn about AI, data science, and machine learning to build fully automated machines?
So for mechanical engineers, I'm not the appropriate person to give the answer because I'm not from a mechanical engineering. But for data science, what I can say is learn Python first of all, because to do any artificial intelligence or To do any data science related thing, you need to learn Python. So learning Python is very much essential thing. So I have list of questions with me. Can I answer the questions of few questions? Answer the question of few questions.
Sir, I was having one question.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, are the webinar certificates important?
What?
Sir, are these webinar certificates which we do, are they important to the industry or not?
No, I don't think there is importance of such webinars, because don't attend or don't learn anything for the sake of certification. Attend or learn anything for your knowledge, because your knowledge is what going to give you a job, not certificates. So I attend webinars or learn anything for knowledge, not for certification. So certification doesn't matter a lot in industry, but whatever you can learn from these sessions will eventually help you a lot.
Sir, is this case applied for both webinars as well as the certification courses we did, or whatever you said, is it only applies for the webinar certificates?
Webinar certification, I don't think it is, it hold any importance, but the technical certification which you do definitely holds much importance, because the technical certification, if you mention your resume, it will help you to stand you out of the crowd. So technical certification matters. uh, Webinar certification no one mentions in resume, right? So you're not going to write in your resume that I had attended a webinar for expectation of companies from the candidates. So it is not going to help you. Technical certification, so if you have a certification on Java 8 or Java 10, and if you mention in the resume, definitely it will help you.
Okay, sir. So what is the difference between the interview which is held on off campus and that which is held on campus?
So in CDAC perspective, what I can say is on campus, uh, this is very generalized term, on campus and off campus. So we have different institution in CDAC. So in on campus, all the companies visit. So we have one central location in Pune, that is Catering College, which is present here in Senapati Bapat Road. And all the candidates used to visit that place, and we used to call on campus. It was for 15 days, and after 15 days, individual company used to visit individual institutions. So it was off campus basically. So but first 15 days, student, there was huge amount of hiring happens. So student tend to prefer to get placed in on campus only. So there is also a huge amount of hiring happens, and package is also very attractive in on campus.
So there is a last question. If a person learned Java or anything other skills but did have certificates, doesn't the value change?
No, I haven't understood the question. Please, can you repeat?
If a person learned Java or anything other skills but did have certificates, doesn't the value change?
So
I think did not have certificate.
Huh.
okay, so you suppose if you learn Java language and you don't have certification, so why certification matter is, suppose if you mention in the resume, it will help you out to stay out of the crowd. But even if you do certification and you don't have knowledge, there is no use of such kind of certification. So certification with knowledge is very much essential, according to me. And even if you don't have certification and you are very well in particular language and you have practical exposure to the particular language, so you did programming by yourself, so that is also important thing. So one of my interview, one of the round is pair programming round. So this is what happening right now. So pair programming is you need to do pair programming one of the person who is in that company, and one common question is given to you, and you need to do the pair program with that candidate. So one of my round was, I forgot to tell you, that pair programming was one of the round, wherein they told us to create website like Flipkart. So we created one microservice from wherein we can add the collection in the database. We can retrieve the data collection from the database. So pair programming also one of the emerging thing which is happening right now in the in technical industry, wherein you need to do the pair programming, because from pair programming they can judge you whether you are very well equipped or whether you are hands-on practice with certain kind of language. So hands-on practice with certain kind of language is very much essential.
So this is the last question for this webinar. I am good in web page designing, HTML and CSS and JavaScript. What kind of jobs are available for this kind?
So for you, basically front-end developer, there is position which is available as front-end developer. So all the front-end development which happens, you can try for that particular position. So there is no need to do any coding coding. I means back-end coding you don't have to do. There is concept called agile. We follow agile methodologies. In one agile team, we have business analysts, we have developers, we have scrum master, we have front-end developers. So we have dedicated front-end developer as well, who can only do the coding of web coding, wherein they can design the web pages and they can do the coding in JavaScript. So there is also huge amount of requirement for the front-end developers as well.
So now we will turn towards the conclusion of this webinar. Thank you, Pawan sir, for the exciting webinar and your exciting experience for going through the whole interview and this job process. It will be helpful to us a very lot. It was pleasure to have you with us. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, Ketki and Gaganjit. Just one thing, so you can share my email ID with them, with the students, so that if they wanted to ask a question anytime in future, they can contact me, and I can definitely try to help them.
Right.
Sure,
Right, Pawan, we'll do that. I'll share the email ID with, I think Prateek is already having. He'll help us in sharing it with the students. Also, I'll ask him to share your LinkedIn profile URL as well, so that people can connect with you professionally. And also, I request everyone that please go through the feedback form which you'll receive right after this webinar, so that it can help us improve for the further webinars, as we are moving ahead with a lot of webinars in the coming weeks. So you'll be getting a pop-up right after this meeting ends. Over to you, Ketki.
I would also thank you, Gaganjit sir and Sanjeevani Alumni Association and Team SARC for successfully conducting this webinar. So this concludes the webinar. Thank you all for attending.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.